Hey guys, what's up? It's Hadger here today, and here we are in Piggy again. So as you might have seen, a couple of my videos were on the Pages update. Now today I have finished book number 1 of the Pages, so I'm gonna just kind of read you that in case you wanted to know what they are, and if you can't get them, then I can show you. So chapter 1, House. I was tasked to investigate reports of a missing child named Georgie. As I arrived at the Piggy's household for any leads, I began to notice things were off. It was unusually quiet and quaint. A breeze of unease surrounded me as I stepped out of my vehicle. Without a moment to react, I blacked out and woke up in the bedroom of the house with a beaming headache. Somebody had knocked me out and brought me here. But why? If they wanted to get rid of me, why did they finish the job? While attempting to piece things together, I encountered a strange, crazed pig with different eyes and hunger for harm. It didn't talk, it just chased me, terrifying. As soon as I escaped the house, I decided to get back into the station and help. What we have here seems to be much more than a missing animal case. Chapter 2. When I reached the station, I found it to be unusually quiet. No officers celebrating, no criminals rattling their cell doors, nothing. Then the intercom system spurted out a warning to get the garage. The voice sounded familiar. It was Doggy, my old partner. I don't know why he showed up on his day off. Maybe it was a distress call that all officers received while I was unconscious in the Piggy house. As I crept about to unlock the garage, I encountered yet another strange-looking pig. It appeared to have black eyes and a violent attitude, just like the last one. What is it with these animals? What happened to them? And what made them be like this? Once I opened the garage door, fueled the escape car, and left with Doggy, I felt a sense of dread overwhelm me. I got out, but did not feel safe. I needed to find out what was going on. Chapter 3, Gallery. It turns out the gas can I picked up was almost empty, but we found ourselves running out of pretty quick. To make matters worse, we stopped in the middle of a city. A couple of infected, as Doggy calls them, surrounded our car. We rushed into a nearby building, the Gallery. I haven't been here since we started investigating a reported robbery last month. It seemed to be a little run down as well. We quickly sealed the building, only to realize that the infected entered as well. It was very strange to see a place once so calm become so chaotic. Doggy told me that he never liked galleries anyway. Chapter 4, Forest. Doggy and I have been safe and sound in this forest for 4 weeks now. We've been silently visiting small towns and taking supplies from them. We spoke for days about what we'll do when it's over. Doggy said he'd like to travel south someday and visit monuments and ruins. I don't know what I'd do. I couldn't get my mind off the world's state. One night I woke up to discover a broken and empty potion and a missing friend. I looked around and found Doggy. He was one of them. My gut sank and I felt weak. Where did this potion come from, and why did he drink it? Was he forced to? He had red eyes, not like the others. Someday I will get to the bottom of this. As I left the forest, no longer be faced with such harsh blow to my heart, I came across a radio with a voice instructed me to head to a school. Gliding onto anything to distract my mind, I followed their instructions. Chapter 5, The School. Still recovering from the loss of Doggy, I felt out of touch with reality, like I was a blur just floating through time. However, I pressed on. The radio I found in the forest instructed me to go help them and find their friend trapped in a school. Maybe if I couldn't save my friend, I could help them save theirs. That's when I met Bunny, a sharpshooter bunny with an eye patch. He had barricaded himself in the school surveillance room after a failed supply run. She was very kind, not to mention thankful. Her enthusiasm inspired me to be strong and get a hold on myself. As we headed to the sewers to meet up with the mysterious radio voice, my head started burning up. My head started burning up. I did not feel well at all. I ignored it and continued moving forward. We met with Mr. P, a very rich celebrity. It was certainly strange to find someone of his status walking about in the sewers. He thanked me for my help, but the more he spoke, the harder I found it to pay my attention. My head hurt and more until I passed out there. The last thing I remember was being wheeled in a hospital seeing Doggy. Chapter 6, Hospital. I woke up in a hospital with Bunny by my side. She seemed to lighten up when she saw my eyes open. Bunny explained that Mr. P and the researchers didn't think I'd make it, as I showed my minimal symptoms of the infection. She didn't give up on me, though. I rescued her, so she believed it was her duty to protect me from being tossed out and deemed a lost cause. Bunny also told me that I woke up in the perfect time. As the place was being evacuated, a doctor was infected and caused severe panic. I jumped out of bed and got to the rooftop, where a helicopter was supposedly waiting for us. It wasn't there. They left without us to who knows where. Bunny and I needed to come up with a way to get out of the hospital ourselves, and fast. Chapter 7, Metro. We made our way through the hospital and down to the underground metro. Bunny and I spoke about Mr. P, and I told her disbelief in him. I could not understand why he would not wait a moment longer for us. She explained that lately he has become more disillusional and obsessed with his search for a cure. Upon finally reaching the metro, I started to work on repairs for the train. Bunny sat down, not feeling too well. She told me she needed to rest a little before going on, and needed a little rest before going on, and let me use her crossbow. When the repairs were ready, she told me that she was infected. I was very reluctant to believe her. She explained that she was one of the tests Mr. P's cure tests at the hospital. Hers did not go so well. I told her that we could find a cure and she could hold on enough to find it. Bunny did not want to go on, as she feared putting me in danger. I got to the train, looking back at her as she stayed behind to fight off any infected that still might be there. My head hurt and my fist clenched. I was going to find Mr. P. Chapter 8, Carnival. I arrived at Mr. P's carnival to search for any leads on where he might be. Unfortunately, there was not much to find besides an infected fox trapped in the cage. I shivered at the thoughts of how he could possibly ended up like that. I met two survivors there, Zizzy and Pony. Zizzy was cunning, skilled fencer, and Pony was clumsy yet comforting ally. They were kind enough to allow me to join them. They told me they were on a supply run, but found me on the way to trusted me enough. As I led back to their safe house, they spoke about untrustworthy people and how I could watch out for them. It seemed that this whole situation really brought the worst in some. Chapter 9, City. We arrived at the city, a rundown mess. They set up their safe house in a hotel, plenty of beds and supplies. Recently, they've been running low. It was there I learned a few things about allies. Zizzy taught her younger sisters, Z and Zussie, how to fight. Pony studied optometry like his father. I told him my story and how I was searching for Mr. P. Saying his name struck something in me, a negative emotion that burned inside my gut. As we spoke, we discovered a mysterious figure watching us. It didn't seem to be infected. It ran away when we noticed us. Zizzy and I ran after it. Chapter 10, Mall. We chased the figure into the mall, only to discover that it was Georgie, the missing child. He had deep fear in his eyes when he found him in his little fort, coupled with an awful stench. I asked him why he went missing. He told him about his family. They visited the hospital without him and came back acting strange, so he ran off to find his grandmother in the city, hopes that she could help him. Unfortunately for him, the city seemed to to act to all act the same way as he finally got there, so he hid himself. The poor, cruel world took his family away from him. I could not imagine what that must feel like at his age. So we brought him back to the safe house with us. There was something. It was there I met in the Safe Place crew. Zizzy's sisters, Minnie and Giraffe. Mimi was a smart engineer. She knew her way around technology quite well. Giraffe was a tough guy with a strong passion for nature and ecology. He loved plants. The meeting was short-lived, however, as Mimi had managed to find working helicopter signal at the nearby military outpost. Pony ignored the news. We left Georgie in the care of others. Pony, Zizzy, and I joined to the outpost. Chapter 11. Outpost. The outpost was swarming with infected soldiers. The three of us opened the sealed doors of the plant where Mr. P promptly flew to. As I prepared to enter, Georgie showed up. He snuck out of the safe place and followed us. I was not pleased to see him at all, because he could not have been easily harmed. It was a relief to see him unscathed, though. I can't say I was surprised after finding him out. Well, he managed on his own. He wanted to see Mr. P, the one responsible for making his family act this way he did. I reluctantly agreed to bring him along as long as he remained close without any more trouble. Georgie and I entered the plant, leaving Zizzy and Pony to fend off against the soldiers and protect us from being swarmed. It was there, Mr. P, speaking strangely. He seemed to hold a deep regret for his actions and could not seem to cope with them. When he realized where they were, he believed there were nothing but ghosts who had come to haunt him. Mr. P was unable to come with terms, and ran off. We followed him for a final confrontation. Okay, last chapter, chapter 12, the plant. Mr. P's delusional thoughts grew wilder as he began to attack and attempt us to leave him alone. We persisted in trying to get his attention, but he would not listen. He was in a world of his own, blinded by his resource. It was not long before I too began to suffer from unwanted thoughts. I cycled through my own memories, being attacked in the past. I was searching for something, anything to get me back into the real world. That was until I found a photo of Mr. P's wife. I showed it to him, and then when he all came back to him, he finally came to no terms with his actions, seeing us no longer regretful memories. He told us his story. He did everything he could to save his wife, who was suffering from a sickness, and caused the world to burn in the process. Nothing hurt him more than the world than himself, and was afraid of his actions. He then, more and more desperate for his solution, sacrificing those closest to him in the process that he had. Georgie was upset and wanted revenge, but I convinced him not to do anything for him. If he harmed Mr. P, he would not do any better than Mr. P. He was too blinded by his emotions to realize what he was doing. And if Georgie went through with it, he would have suffered just like him. We soon left the plant, leaving Mr. P and Zizzy behind, and Pony greeted us with great joy. With the search of Mr. P finally over, we were unsure of what to do. We stopped to take a moment to think. Then Georgie's face lit up as he came up with an idea. What if we looked for a cure? Maybe then it wasn't such a ridiculous idea. We live in a world full of all sorts of people, so perhaps it wouldn't be too far-fetched to look across someone working on something that could help us out. There's only one way to find out. So yeah, that's book 1. It was pretty long. So yeah, you might have not liked listening to that, But also I wanted to tell you that I'm gonna do a video soon on what what might be chapter 1 through 7 of the book 2. So I'm gonna make a video on that of chapter 1 through 7, probably of my prediction of the book and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of it for today's video. Subscribe, smash that like button, and turn on notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye.